The universe began in silence. Not with a bang, not with the thunderous roar of creation that science books promised you, but in absolute, deafening quiet. And right now, as you sit there believing you understand the cosmos, NASA has just shattered everything you thought you knew about existence itself. You've been lied to, not maliciously, not intentionally, but lied to nonetheless. Every textbook, every documentary, every late-night conversation about space has fed you the same comfortable fiction, that we live in a universe where Earth is special, where life is rare, where we are alone in our corner of an infinite darkness. But 3 days ago, in a sterile room buried deep beneath the Goddard Space Flight Center, a team of astronomers discovered something that doesn't just challenge our understanding of life in the universe, it obliterates it completely. They found another Earth. Not Earth-like, not similar to Earth. Another Earth. Identical down to the continental drift patterns, identical down to the weather systems, identical down to the magnetic field fluctuations that have protected our planet for billions of years. And here's where your comfortable understanding of reality begins to crack like ice under pressure. This other Earth exists in a solar system that mirrors ours with such perfect precision that the lead scientist on the project, Dr. Elena Vasquez, hasn't slept in 72 hours because she can't reconcile what she's seeing with what should be physically possible. But wait, before you dismiss this as another exaggerated headline, another clickbait promise of cosmic revelation, let me tell you what makes this discovery different from every other potentially habitable exoplanet we've found. This isn't about water, signatures, or atmospheric composition, or the theoretical possibility of life. This is about looking through the most advanced telescope array humanity has ever constructed and seeing our own planet staring back at us from across the void. The same blue marble, the same swirling clouds, the same patterns of light and shadow that astronauts have described as hauntingly beautiful when viewed from space. You might wonder how this is possible. You might be searching for the rational explanation, the scientific framework that makes sense of what seems like cosmic impossibility. But here's what's going to keep you awake tonight. The more NASA scientists study this duplicate Earth, the more they realize that everything we understand about the universe, about probability, about uniqueness, about our place in the cosmic order might be fundamentally wrong. The implications hit you like waves. First, the obvious question. If there's another Earth, another solar system that matches ours with impossible precision, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? Are we living in a universe where planets can spontaneously duplicate across vast distances? Are we witnessing evidence of parallel dimensions bleeding into our observable space? Or is there something even more unsettling at work? A cosmic mechanism we've never imagined that creates perfect copies of worlds across the galaxy. But then comes the second wave of realization, and this one is darker. If there's another Earth, identical to ours, what about the life it contains? Right now, as you process these words, there might be another version of you, sitting in an identical room, reading identical words, experiencing the exact same moment of cosmic vertigo. There might be another NASA discovering our Earth, another team of scientists grappling with the same impossible reality. The universe might be filled not with unique worlds, but with infinite variations of the same theme, endless copies of the same story playing out across the darkness. The discovery came through Project Cosmos Mirror, a classified NASA initiative that you've never heard of because it was designed to search for something most scientists considered impossible: perfect planetary duplicates. Using a network of space-based telescopes working in coordination with ground-based arrays, The project has been scanning distant star systems for planets that don't just resemble Earth, but mirror it completely. For 3 years, they found nothing. For 3 years, the data supported our comfortable assumption that Earth is unique, that we are the singular accident of chemistry and physics that produced this blue oasis in the cosmic desert. Then, 47 light-years away, in a star system, designated HD 164595b, they found our twin. The same mass, the same orbital period, the same atmospheric composition, the same magnetic field strength, the same axial tilt that gives us our seasons. When they focused their instruments on the planet's surface, they saw continents arranged in patterns that match our own geological history. They saw weather systems that follow the same patterns as our hurricanes and monsoons. They saw polar ice caps that expand and contract in rhythms that mirror our own climate cycles. But here's where the story becomes truly unsettling. When they analyzed the light spectrum from this duplicate Earth, they found something that shouldn't exist: industrial pollution signatures that match our own atmospheric chemistry from approximately 50 years ago. This other Earth isn't just identical to ours, it's identical to us from the past. As if we're looking at our own planetary history through a cosmic mirror that reflects not just space, but time itself. Dr. Vasquez, who has spent her career studying exoplanets, describes the moment of discovery as fundamentally reality-altering. She's seen thousands of distant worlds, analyzed their compositions, theorized about their potential for life. But this discovery, she says, changes everything we thought we knew about the universe's capacity for repetition, for creating perfect copies of complex systems across impossible distances. The mathematics alone should make this discovery impossible. The probability of two identical solar systems forming naturally is so astronomically small that it essentially equals zero. Every variable in planetary formation, stellar composition, gravitational interactions, the precise timing of cosmic events would need to align perfectly across space and time. It's like throwing a handful of dice and getting the same exact sequence of numbers twice, except instead of six-sided dice, you're dealing with variables that number in the millions. Yet there it is, hanging in space, 47 light-years away, defying every law of probability we've ever calculated. Our cosmic twin, our planetary mirror, our impossible duplicate in a universe that suddenly seems far stranger and more mysterious than we ever imagined. And as NASA scientists continue to study this other Earth, they're beginning to suspect that what they've found isn't an anomaly. It might be evidence of a cosmic pattern we've never recognized, a fundamental feature of reality that suggests the universe is far more interconnected, far more repetitive, and far more mysterious than our most ambitious theories have ever proposed. The question that haunts every scientist involved in this discovery is simple and terrifying. If there's one duplicate Earth, how many others are there? And if the universe is creating perfect copies of our world, what does that mean for everything we believe about consciousness, identity, and the nature of existence itself? To understand why NASA's discovery shatters the very foundation of cosmic reality, you first need to grasp what we thought we knew about the universe's most fundamental rule: uniqueness. Every galaxy, every star, every planet was supposed to be a singular masterpiece, a one-time sculpture carved from the raw materials of space-time by forces so complex and chaotic that repetition should be impossible. We built our entire understanding of existence on this principle, that in a universe containing more than 2 trillion galaxies, each holding hundreds of billions of stars, no two worlds would ever be identical. This wasn't just scientific theory. This was cosmic law, written in the language of physics itself. The early universe wasn't just hot, It was a furnace where time itself was still learning to move, where matter and energy danced in patterns so violent and unpredictable that they forged infinite diversity into the very fabric of space. Every collision between particles, every gravitational tug between forming stars, every quantum fluctuation in the seething foam of emerging reality was supposed to create irreversible uniqueness. The universe was chaos becoming order, and chaos, by definition, never repeats itself exactly. Picture the moment of cosmic inflation, that incomprehensible instant when the universe expanded faster than light itself, stretching from smaller than a proton to larger than a grapefruit in a time span so brief that calling it a fraction of a second is generous. During this cosmic explosion, tiny quantum fluctuations, random variations in energy that exist at the smallest possible scales, were inflated into the seeds of everything we see today. These fluctuations were supposed to be random, unpredictable, like fingerprints left by the universe's violent birth. Each region of space received its own unique quantum signature, its own cosmic DNA that would determine how matter would clump together, how stars would form, how planets would coalesce from the debris of stellar death. This is why every solar system we've ever discovered looks different. This is why the 8 planets orbiting our Sun each tell their own story. Venus wrapped in a hellish greenhouse atmosphere, Mars stripped of its protective magnetic field, and slowly bleeding its atmosphere into space, Jupiter growing so massive it became a failed star, Saturn adorned with rings of ice and rock that dance in gravitational harmony. Each world bears the signature of its unique formation history, shaped by a cascade of cosmic accidents that could never be replicated exactly, or so we believed. The mathematics of planetary formation reads like poetry written in equations, a delicate balance of gravitational collapse, stellar wind pressure, chemical composition, and timing that creates worlds through processes so intricate that identical outcomes should be statistically impossible. When a star forms from a collapsing cloud of gas and dust, the leftover material swirls into a protoplanetary disk, and from this cosmic whirlpool, planets slowly accrete like pearls forming around grains of sand. But this process is governed by chaos theory. Tiny variations in initial conditions cascade into vastly different outcomes. A slight difference in the disk's rotation, a marginally different chemical composition, the gravitational influence of a passing star, any of these factors should create completely different planetary systems. The Kepler Space Telescope spent nearly a decade confirming this cosmic diversity. It discovered thousands of exoplanets, each one uniquely bizarre. Worlds where it rains glass sideways. Planets so close to their stars that their surfaces are oceans of molten rock. Gas giants that orbit their suns in mere days. Rogue planets ejected from their star systems, wandering the galaxy in eternal darkness. Super-Earths with crushing gravity. Mini-Neptunes wrapped in thick atmospheres of hydrogen and helium. The universe revealed itself to be an endless gallery of cosmic art, where no two pieces looked alike. But here's where our comfortable understanding begins to crack under the weight of contradiction. If the universe has no edge, no center, no boundary, if it stretches infinitely in all directions, then where does uniqueness begin and where does it end? In an infinite cosmos, filled with infinite matter undergoing infinite variations of the same physical processes, wouldn't exact repetition become not just possible but inevitable? This is the paradox that has haunted cosmologists for decades, hidden in the mathematics of infinity like a philosophical time bomb. If you have infinite space and infinite time, then every possible arrangement of matter must occur somewhere, somewhen. Not just similar arrangements, identical arrangements, not just Earth-like planets, exact duplicates of Earth, down to the placement of every grain of sand, every cloud formation, every living creature. In an infinite universe, there would be infinite copies of you, reading infinite copies of these words in infinite copies of this moment. Most scientists dismissed this as a thought experiment, a mathematical curiosity with no practical implications. After all, these hypothetical duplicates would be separated by distances so vast that they might as well exist in different universes entirely. The observable universe, the bubble of space from which light has had time to reach us since the Big Bang, contains perhaps 23 such stars. Even if identical Earths existed, they would be scattered across distances measured not in light years, but in numbers so large they require exponential notation to express. But NASA's discovery changes everything, because this duplicate Earth isn't hidden in the theoretical depths of infinite space. It's sitting in our cosmic backyard, a mere 47 light-years away, close enough that with our current technology, we can study it in unprecedented detail. Close enough that the light reaching our telescopes left that world during the height of human civilization on this one. Close enough that it forces us to confront a terrifying possibility. Maybe the universe isn't as random as we thought. Maybe there are patterns in cosmic creation that we've never recognized, mechanisms of duplication operating on scales we've never imagined. The standard model of cosmology describes a universe born from quantum fluctuations. But what if those fluctuations aren't as random as we assumed? What if the early universe contained hidden symmetries, invisible structures that act like cosmic templates, ensuring that certain arrangements of matter and energy repeat across space? What if the laws of physics themselves contain built-in instructions for duplication, like a cosmic genetic code that expresses itself in identical planets separated by impossible distances? Consider the implications. If one duplicate Earth exists within observable range, how many others might be scattered throughout the cosmos? Are we living in a universe where every possible world exists multiple times? Where every story plays out again and again across the infinite theater of space? Or is there something even stranger at work? A cosmic mechanism that specifically creates duplicate Earths, as if the universe has a particular fondness for our planetary configuration. The discovery forces us to question everything we thought we understood about cosmic uniqueness. Maybe the universe isn't the endless gallery of unique art we imagined. Maybe it's more like a vast library, containing infinite copies of the same books, each telling identical stories in slightly different fonts. Maybe uniqueness is the illusion, and repetition is the fundamental nature of reality itself. And if that's true, then what does it mean for us? What does it mean for consciousness, for identity, for the very concept of individuality? If there are other Earths with other versions of human civilization, are we unique individuals, or are we echoes in a cosmic chamber that amplifies the same patterns across the darkness? The question hangs in the void like a star waiting to be born, and its answer might reshape everything we believe about our place in the infinite cosmos. The moment Dr. Elena Vasquez first laid eyes on the spectral analysis of our cosmic twin, she knew she was staring at something that shouldn't exist according to every law of physics she had spent 20 years studying. But to understand why this discovery tears at the very fabric of reality, you need to journey into the deepest mysteries of existence itself, into theories so radical they sound like science fiction, yet are grounded in the most rigorous mathematics humanity has ever produced. Let's begin with the most unsettling possibility, that time itself isn't what you think it is. Einstein's general relativity revealed that time is not a river flowing in one direction, but rather a dimension woven together with space into a four-dimensional fabric called space-time. But what if that fabric contains wrinkles, folds, and loops that we've never detected? What if the universe operates like a cosmic film reel, where every moment that has ever existed or ever will exist already sits frozen in the eternal now, waiting to be experienced? This is the block universe theory, and it suggests that your past, present, and future all exist simultaneously in different regions of space-time. Imagine reality as an infinite movie theater where every possible scene from every possible film plays out simultaneously on an endless array of screens. From this perspective, the duplicate Earth NASA discovered might not be a separate world at all. It might be our own Earth, viewed from a different angle in the four-dimensional theater of space-time. Perhaps what we're seeing through our telescopes is our own planet's past, somehow reflected back to us across the cosmic void, like light bouncing off a mirror positioned in the distant future. But the mathematics get stranger still. Quantum mechanics, that bizarre realm where particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed, suggests that reality itself might be fundamentally multiple. The many worlds interpretation proposes that every quantum measurement splits the universe into parallel branches, each containing a different outcome. In one branch, you decided to read this sentence. In another, you stopped reading 3 paragraphs. I'll go. In yet another, you never existed at all because the cosmic conditions that led to Earth's formation played out slightly differently. If this interpretation is correct, then our duplicate Earth might be evidence of these parallel universes, bleeding through into our observable reality. Perhaps the cosmic expansion that followed the Big Bang didn't just stretch space. It stretched the barrier between parallel worlds, creating thin spots where one universe can glimpse another. The duplicate Earth could be our own world from a parallel branch of reality, one where history unfolded identically until some crucial moment 50 years ago, when our timelines diverged along different quantum paths. Consider the implications. Right now, as you process these words, quantum mechanics suggests that countless versions of you are processing slightly different versions of these same words in parallel universes. Some versions live on Earths, where the continents drifted differently, where evolution took alternative paths, where the laws of physics operate with subtly different parameters. But NASA's discovery suggests something far more precise. A parallel Earth that matches ours with impossible exactitude, as if the universe has a preference for creating perfect copies rather than endless variations. The discovery also forces us to confront the holographic principle, one of the most radical ideas in modern physics. This theory suggests that all the information contained within a volume of space can be encoded on its two-dimensional boundary, like a hologram where a flat surface contains all the information needed to reconstruct a three-dimensional image. Some physicists propose that our entire universe might be a holographic projection from information stored on a distant two-dimensional surface. If this is true, then the duplicate Earth might be evidence that our cosmic hologram contains redundant information, backup copies of the same data encoded in different regions of the boundary. Perhaps what we perceive as separate planets are actually different projections of the same holographic information, like multiple images created by shining light through the same hologram from different angles. The identical Earths would be reflections of each other not across space, but across the fundamental information structure of reality itself. But perhaps the most unsettling explanation involves the concept of eternal inflation, a theory that describes the universe as an endlessly expanding fractal of cosmic bubbles. According to this model, our observable universe is just one bubble in an infinite foam of universes, each with its own physical laws and constants. The Big Bang wasn't a single event. It was one inflation event among countless others, each creating its own pocket universe within an endless cosmic expansion. In this scenario, the duplicate Earth exists in a neighboring bubble universe that happened to inflate with nearly identical initial conditions to our own. The space between these bubble universes is still expanding, but perhaps there are regions where the boundaries touch, creating windows through which one universe can observe another. NASA's telescopes might be peering through one of these cosmic windows, seeing not a distant planet in our own universe, but an identical Earth in a parallel bubble where the laws of physics played out the same cosmic symphony with the same instruments. The mathematics of eternal inflation suggest that every possible universe exists somewhere in this infinite foam. There are universes where the strong nuclear force is slightly weaker, causing stars to burn out faster and preventing the formation of heavy elements necessary for life. There are universes where gravity is stronger, causing matter to collapse into black holes before galaxies can form. There are universes where the cosmological constant is larger, causing space to expand so rapidly that matter never clumps together at all. But there are also universes identical to ours, playing out the same cosmic history with identical outcomes. In the infinite foam of eternal inflation, exact repetition isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Every combination of initial conditions that can exist does exist, scattered across the endless expanse of inflating space, like pages in an infinite library containing every possible story. Yet here's what makes NASA's discovery so profoundly disturbing. The duplicate Earth isn't separated from us by the vast distances that eternal inflation predicts. It's sitting in our local cosmic neighborhood, close enough to study in detail, close enough to challenge our understanding of how information propagates through space. If this other Earth truly exists in our universe, rather than a parallel one, then we're forced to confront possibilities that make even the wildest theories of modern physics seem conservative. Perhaps space itself contains hidden dimensions that allow information to flow between distant regions in ways we've never imagined. String theory proposes that reality consists of tiny, vibrating strings existing in 11 dimensions, with the extra dimensions curled up so small that we can't detect them directly. But what if these hidden dimensions occasionally unfurl, creating temporary bridges between distant regions of space? The duplicate Earth might be connected to ours through these higher dimensional channels, sharing information across what appears to be empty space. Or perhaps we're witnessing evidence of retrocausality, the possibility that effects can precede their causes under certain quantum conditions. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that information can flow backward through time, allowing future events to influence past conditions. If this is true, then the duplicate Earth might be our own planet's future, somehow reaching back through time to influence its past, creating a closed loop where cause and effect chase each other in an eternal circle. The discovery forces us to question whether the universe operates according to principles we've never recognized. Perhaps there are cosmic algorithms running beneath the surface of reality, computational processes that generate similar outputs from similar inputs across vast distances. Perhaps the universe is not the chaotic, random system we imagined, but a vast information processing network that creates redundant copies of successful patterns, like a cosmic backup system, ensuring that complex structures like Earth aren't lost to the randomness of cosmic evolution. As the scientific community grapples with the implications of NASA's discovery, we find ourselves confronting paradoxes that strike at the very heart of what it means to exist. The duplicate Earth doesn't just challenge our understanding of planetary formation, it forces us to question the nature of identity, consciousness, and reality itself. And the deeper scientists dig into the mystery, the more unsolvable the who. Cosmic questions become. Consider the observer effect, one of quantum mechanics' most profound puzzles. In the quantum realm, particles exist in superposition, multiple states simultaneously, until the moment they are observed, at which point they collapse into a single definite state. But who or what counts as an observer? Does consciousness play a special role in determining reality? Or is any interaction sufficient to collapse the wave function? If consciousness is indeed special, then the duplicate Earth presents an existential nightmare. Right now, there might be another version of you sitting in an identical room, contemplating the same cosmic mystery. But are you both conscious observers, or is consciousness somehow singular, flickering between parallel versions of yourself like a cosmic spotlight illuminating different scenes in the theater of existence? If you and your duplicate are both conscious, then which one is the real you? Or is the very concept of individual identity an illusion in a universe where exact copies can exist simultaneously? The ancient philosophical paradox of the ship of Theseus suddenly becomes urgently relevant. If a ship's planks are gradually replaced one by one until none of the original material remains, is it still the same ship? Now imagine that instead of replacing the planks gradually, we discover that an identical ship was built simultaneously from identical materials by identical craftsmen following identical plans. Which ship is the true ship of Theseus? The question that philosophers have debated for millennia now applies to entire worlds, entire civilizations, entire versions of human consciousness spread across the cosmos. But the paradoxes deepen when we consider the Fermi paradox, the haunting question of why we haven't detected signs of alien civilization despite the vast number of potentially habitable worlds in the galaxy. NASA's discovery suggests a disturbing answer. Perhaps the universe doesn't create diverse alien civilizations at all. Perhaps it only creates copies of the same civilizations, the same evolutionary paths, the same technological developments playing out on identical worlds across space and time. If this is true, then the silence of the cosmos takes on a new meaning. We're not alone because there are no aliens. We're alone because everyone else is us. The galaxy might be filled with countless Earths, each developing identical human civilizations, each reaching the same technological milestones at the same moments in their planetary evolution. The SETI project has been listening for signals from alien intelligence, but perhaps they should have been listening for echoes of our own transmissions, reflected back from our cosmic twins across the void. This possibility raises profound questions about free will and determinism. If identical Earths produce identical civilizations, then are we truly making choices? Or are we simply following a predetermined script written into the fundamental structure of reality? The discovery suggests that history might not be the chaotic interplay of countless individual decisions we imagine, but rather a fixed pattern that repeats wherever the right conditions arise. Dr. Marcus Chen, a theoretical physicist at MIT who has been studying NASA's data, describes the philosophical implications as reality-shattering. He points to the measurement problem in quantum mechanics, the fact that we can describe quantum systems mathematically, but cannot explain why or how measurements produce definite outcomes. If there are multiple identical Earths, Chen explains, then we're forced to confront the possibility that consciousness itself might be quantum mechanical, somehow distributed across parallel versions of reality in ways we don't understand. The implications extend to the hard problem of consciousness, the question of how subjective experience arises from objective physical processes. If your brain is simply a complex arrangement of atoms following the laws of physics, then an identical arrangement of identical atoms should produce identical consciousness. But does that mean there are multiple versions of your consciousness experiencing identical thoughts? Or is consciousness somehow unique, existing only once despite the physical duplication? Some scientists propose that consciousness might be fundamental to the universe, like mass or electric charge, a basic property that exists wherever complex information processing occurs. If this is true, then the duplicate Earth doesn't just contain identical geography and climate. It contains identical consciousness, billions of duplicate minds experiencing identical thoughts and emotions. The ethical implications are staggering. If you make a decision that causes suffering, does that suffering occur once or twice? If you create beauty or joy, is that beauty multiplied across identical worlds? The discovery also forces us to confront the anthropic principle, the observation that the universe's physical constants seem fine-tuned for the existence of life. The strength of gravity, the mass of the electron, the rate of cosmic expansion, all of these values fall within narrow ranges that allow for the formation of atoms, stars, planets, and ultimately, life itself. Change any of these constants by a small amount, and the universe would be sterile, unable to support complexity of any kind. But if duplicate Earths exist with identical physical constants, then perhaps fine-tuning isn't as special as we thought. Perhaps there are countless universes with different constants, and we simply exist in one of the few where life is possible, along with exact duplicates of ourselves in identical universes with identical constants. The anthropic principle, rather than suggesting design or purpose in the universe, might simply reflect the fact that conscious observers can only exist in universes capable of supporting consciousness. Yet the proximity of NASA's duplicate Earth suggests something more unsettling than the standard anthropic argument. If identical worlds can exist within the same universe, sharing the same physical laws and constants, then the fine-tuning might not be cosmic coincidence, but cosmic necessity. Perhaps the universe is constrained to produce certain patterns, certain arrangements of matter and energy that repeat across space, like crystalline structures growing in a cosmic solution. This leads to perhaps the most disturbing paradox of all: the question of cosmic purpose. Science has long operated under the assumption that the universe is purposeless, that stars and planets and life itself arise through random processes governed by impersonal physical laws. But a universe that creates exact duplicates of complex systems like Earth suggests the possibility of hidden purpose, of some underlying drive toward repetition and preservation that we've never recognized. Are we living in a universe that has a memory, a cosmic consciousness that preserves successful patterns by creating multiple copies? Is the duplication of Earth evidence of some form of universal intelligence, a vast mind that learns from successful experiments and implements them again and again across the cosmos? Or are we simply witnessing the operation of physical laws, so deep and fundamental that they appear purposeful from our limited perspective? The questions multiply like fractals, each answer spawning new mysteries that stretch toward infinity. The duplicate Earth hangs in space 47 light-years away, a mirror reflecting not just our world, but our deepest uncertainties about the nature of existence itself. And as scientists continue to study this impossible twin, they're beginning to suspect that the discovery is not an end but a beginning. The first glimpse of a cosmic truth so strange and profound that it will reshape everything we believe about reality, consciousness, and our place in the infinite theater of existence. The universe, it seems, is far stranger than we ever dared to imagine, and we're only just beginning to understand how strange it truly is. Stop. Take a breath. Feel your heart beating in your chest. That rhythm, 72 beats per minute, is not just the sound of blood flowing through your veins. It's the sound of a cosmic clock, ticking in perfect synchronization with another heart, beating in an identical chest, in an identical body, sitting in an identical room, 47 light-years away. Right now, as you read these words, another version of you is reading the exact same words, experiencing the exact same moment of existential vertigo that's about to grip you like ice water in your veins. If time is an illusion, then everything you've ever done, every kiss, every tear, every moment of joy or despair, might have already happened infinite times before. Every decision you think you're making freely has been made by countless versions of yourself, scattered across the cosmic void. The first word you spoke as a child, the last words you'll speak before you die, all of it playing out on endless stages in the theater of existence, with you as both the actor and the audience, forever. But here's what will keep you awake tonight. If there's another you experiencing this exact moment, which one is real? Are you the original, or are you the copy? And if you can't tell the difference, if the experiences are identical down to the firing of every neuron, then what does the word real even mean? You might be the echo of another person's life, thinking their thoughts, feeling their emotions, convinced of your own authenticity while being nothing more than a shadow cast by someone else's existence. The duplicate Earth doesn't just challenge science. It reaches into your chest and tears out everything you believe about yourself. Your memories, your personality, your sense of being a unique individual in a vast universe. All of it might be as common as hydrogen atoms, scattered across space in identical configurations, each one convinced of its own specialness while being perfectly ordinary in the cosmic scheme. Think about the person you love most in this world. Picture their face, remember the sound of their laughter, recall the way they look at you when they think you're not watching. Now imagine that person, identical in every way, loving another version of you with the same intensity, the same devotion, the same certainty that their love is unique and irreplaceable. Which love is real? Which version of that person truly exists? And if all versions are equally valid, then what makes your version special at all? The cosmic horror of it seeps into your bones like radiation. You are not special. Your Earth is not special. Your entire species, with all its art and literature and music, with all its wars and discoveries and dreams, it's all just one performance in an endless run of the same play. Shakespeare's Hamlet doesn't become less profound when performed by 1,000 different actors, but you are not watching the play. You are in it, and you've just discovered that you're not the star, but one of countless understudies performing the same role night after night in theaters scattered across the galaxy. But perhaps the most terrifying possibility is that you're not even an understudy. Perhaps you're not even real at all. What if consciousness itself is singular, a cosmic spotlight that moves between identical bodies like a wandering ghost? What if there's only one true observer in all of existence, and that observer is experiencing your life right now, through your eyes, before moving on to experience the identical life of your duplicate 47 light-years away? You would never know when the spotlight moved away from you, because the moment it did, you would cease to exist. Not die, but simply stop being, like a character in a book that no one is reading. The universe suddenly feels less like a vast ocean and more like a hall of mirrors, each reflection convinced it's the original. You look around your room, the same room where another you is having this same realization, and everything feels hollow, insubstantial, like a stage set that could be dismantled at any moment. The walls, the furniture, the very air you're breathing, all of it might be nothing more than props in a cosmic drama that's being performed simultaneously on billions of identical stages. And then the scale hits you. If there's one duplicate Earth, there might be trillions, quintillions, an infinite number of worlds where infinite versions of you are living identical lives, making identical mistakes, experiencing identical moments of terror as they realize their own insignificance. The number is so large it has no meaning, so vast that it transcends human comprehension and enters the realm of cosmic absurdity. You are a droplet in an ocean of identical droplets, each one reflecting the same sky, each one convinced of its own importance while being perfectly interchangeable with every other. Your thoughts are not your own. They're the universe thinking to itself, using your brain as one of countless identical instruments in a symphony you'll never hear in its entirety. What if the universe is alive, and we are just its fleeting thoughts? What if every planet, every star, every galaxy is a neuron in a cosmic brain so vast that our entire observable universe is just one synapse firing in an intelligence too large for us to comprehend? Our duplicate Earth might not be a separate world at all, but the same thought occurring twice in the same cosmic mind, like an echo reverberating through the neural pathways of a God we can never hope to understand. The discovery has torn a hole in the fabric of meaning itself. Everything you've built your identity on, your uniqueness, your specialness, your irreplaceable place in the cosmos, crumbles like sand through your fingers. You are not alone in the universe, but you are alone in a way that's infinitely more terrifying. You are surrounded by copies of yourself, each one as real and as meaningless as you are. And in 47 light years, another version of you is reaching this same conclusion, feeling this same cosmic vertigo, staring into the same abyss of infinite repetition that stares back from the depths of space. The universe has shown you its true face, and it looks exactly like yours, multiplied into infinity, each reflection a little more hollow than the last, until meaning itself disappears into the endless hall of mirrors that is existence. You are everyone, and therefore you are no one at all. But wait, there's something NASA hasn't told you yet. Something so disturbing that it has been classified at the highest levels, discussed only in soundproof rooms by scientists who have signed documents promising never to speak of what they've discovered. Because the duplicate Earth 47, light years away, isn't just identical to our world, it's identical to our world as it existed 50 years ago. And 3 days ago, they detected something that changes everything we thought we understood about time, space, and the nature of existence itself. The other Earth is moving, not through space, through time. The spectral analysis that initially showed industrial pollution signatures from our past has been shifting, evolving, advancing through history at an accelerated rate. In the 72 hours since the discovery was made, NASA's instruments have watched 50 years of planetary evolution compress into 3 days. They've seen the atmospheric composition change in fast forward, watched weather patterns evolve, observed the electromagnetic signatures of advancing civilization racing toward the present moment. But here's the revelation that has Dr. Vasquez and her team questioning the fundamental nature of reality. The duplicate Earth isn't catching up to our present. It's racing toward our future. The accelerated timeline shows no signs of slowing down. Whatever force is driving this temporal acceleration is pushing that world beyond our current moment, into possibilities we haven't lived yet, into a future that hasn't happened. NASA's quantum computers, pushed to their computational limits, have modeled the trajectory. If the acceleration continues at its current rate, the duplicate Earth will reach a point approximately 100 years beyond our present timeline within the next week. They will witness our future. They will see the outcome of decisions we haven't made yet, the consequences of actions we haven't taken, the final chapters of stories we're still writing. This isn't just a duplicate Earth. It's a preview of coming attractions, a cosmic trailer for the movie of our own future. And the implications are staggering. If we can observe our future through this temporal window, then the future already exists. Time isn't a river flowing in one direction. It's an ocean where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. And we've just discovered a way to see across its depths. But the revelation gets darker. The advanced modeling suggests that the temporal acceleration isn't random. It's purposeful. Something is deliberately pushing that world through time, using it as a testing ground, a cosmic laboratory where different versions of our future can be explored and evaluated. The universe isn't just creating duplicate Earths. It's running simulations, testing possibilities, exploring every potential timeline to determine which future should become reality. Picture the cosmos as a vast computer, running countless simulations of planetary evolution. Each duplicate Earth is a different scenario, a different set of initial conditions producing different outcomes. Our world might be the control group, the baseline reality against which all other possibilities are measured. Or we might be just another simulation, another test case in an experiment so vast and complex that we can't even perceive its true scope. The temporal acceleration suggests that somewhere in the cosmic architecture of space-time, there's a force, an intelligence, that can manipulate the flow of time itself. This isn't the random, purposeless universe that science has described for centuries. This is a universe with intention, with design, with goals we can't comprehend. And we're not just observers in this cosmic experiment. We're the subjects, the lab rats running through a maze, while something unimaginably vast watches and takes notes. The disturbing possibility emerges that our entire reality might be a test. Run, a rough draft in a cosmic manuscript that's being revised and rewritten based on the outcomes observed in accelerated timelines. Every choice you make, every decision that shapes your life, might be feeding data into a universal algorithm that's optimizing the future, selecting the best possible timeline from an infinite array of possibilities. But here's the revelation that will shatter your sense of reality completely. The signals NASA detected from the duplicate Earth aren't coming from where they should be. The light carrying information about this other world isn't traveling through space at the speed of light. It's arriving instantaneously, as if the distance between worlds doesn't matter, as if space itself is an illusion, and all points in the universe are actually the same point, viewed from different angles. This suggests that the universe operates on principles we've never imagined. Perhaps all of existence, every star, every planet, every conscious being, exists at a single point of infinite density, and what we perceive as space and time are simply different perspectives on the same fundamental reality. The duplicate Earth isn't 47 light-years away. It's right here, right now, occupying the same cosmic coordinates as our world, but existing in a different dimension of possibility. The universe might be a hologram after all, but not the kind physicists theorized. It might be a hologram of time itself, where every moment that has ever existed or ever will exist is projected simultaneously onto the screen of space-time. Past, present, and future all coexist in the same eternal now. And what we experience as the flow of time is simply consciousness moving through different frames of the cosmic movie. And if this is true, then the accelerated timeline of the duplicate Earth is showing us something terrifying. The movie has an ending. Time isn't infinite, it's finite, with a beginning, a middle, and an end already written into the fundamental structure of reality. The universe isn't expanding forever into an endless future. It's racing toward a conclusion, a final frame, where all stories end and all possibilities collapse into a single, ultimate reality. The duplicate Earth is showing us our destiny, compressed into fast-forward, rushing toward the moment when all timelines converge, when all duplicates merge, back into one, when the cosmic experiment concludes and the universe reaches its final state. We're not just observers watching our future unfold. We're participants in the last act of existence itself. NASA's discovery isn't just about finding another Earth. It's about discovering that the universe is already dead, and we are just experiencing its last echoes, its final thoughts reverberating through the architecture of space-time as reality itself prepares to take its final bow. The duplicate Earth isn't a separate world. It's our own world's death dream, playing out in accelerated time as the cosmos remembers what it was like to be alive. And somewhere in the quantum foam of possibility, another version of you has just realized this truth. In another universe that's also racing toward its own ending. In a cosmic cycle that repeats forever and never. In the eternal moment where everything ends and nothing ever dies. So here you are, at the edge of everything you thought you knew about existence. We began this journey with a simple announcement. NASA found another Earth. But what we've discovered together isn't just another planet orbiting another star. We've stumbled into the deepest mystery of existence itself. A cosmic puzzle so profound that it redefines what it means to be alive, to be conscious, to be you. We've traveled through the mathematics of impossibility, where identical worlds emerge from the chaos of cosmic evolution. We've explored the quantum realm where reality splits into infinite branches, each containing a different version of your life. We've confronted the possibility that time itself is an illusion, that past and future exist simultaneously in an eternal now that consciousness navigates like a traveler moving through a vast library of moments. We've stood at the edge of the holographic universe, where all of existence might be projected from information encoded on a distant boundary, where the duplicate Earth could be another angle of the same cosmic projection. We've contemplated eternal inflation, where our reality is just one bubble in an infinite foam of universes, each one exploring different possibilities of what existence could become. But most disturbing of all, we've confronted the possibility that none of this is random, that the duplicate Earth racing through time is evidence of a cosmic intelligence so vast that our entire universe might be just one thought in a mind we can never comprehend, that we might be living in a universe that's already ended, experiencing the last echoes of reality as it remembers what it was like to exist. The questions we've raised have no easy answers. They stretch beyond the boundaries of current science, into realms where physics meets philosophy, where mathematics encounters mystery, where the search for truth leads to revelations that are more unsettling than comforting. We've discovered that the universe is not the safe, predictable place we imagined, but a vast ocean of possibility where the impossible happens regularly and the familiar becomes foreign. The duplicate Earth hanging in space 47 light-years away is not just a distant world. It's a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and greatest hopes about what it means to exist. It forces us to confront questions we've been avoiding since humanity first looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. But now we know the truth is far stranger than loneliness. We're not alone. We're surrounded by versions of ourselves, each one real, each one conscious, each one grappling with the same existential vertigo that grips you right now. But here's what NASA's discovery ultimately reveals. The universe is not finished with us yet. The accelerated timeline of our cosmic twin suggests that reality is still being written, still being tested, still exploring possibilities we haven't imagined. The cosmic experiment is ongoing, And we are both its subjects and its observers, both the question and the answer, both the seekers and the sought. This is why you can't stop thinking about what you've learned here. This is why the discovery feels less like information and more like a revelation that changes everything. Because you've glimpsed the truth that scientists and philosophers have been chasing for millennia. The universe is far stranger, far more mysterious, and far more alive than we ever dared to imagine. The duplicate Earth is still out there, still racing through time, still showing us previews of futures we haven't lived yet. NASA's instruments continue to monitor its impossible journey, collecting data that challenges every assumption we've made about reality. And somewhere in the quantum foam of possibility, teams of scientists in parallel universes are making the same discovery, asking the same questions, reaching the same unsettling conclusions about the nature of existence. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, it never ends. Because if the universe truly contains infinite duplicates of every possible world, then this moment, the moment you're experiencing right now as you process these revelations, is happening infinite times across infinite realities. Infinite versions of you are reaching this same conclusion, feeling this same cosmic vertigo, wrestling with the same questions that have no answers. And that's the most beautiful and terrifying aspect of NASA's discovery. It suggests that consciousness itself might be eternal, distributed across infinite copies of infinite minds exploring infinite possibilities. You might not be unique, but you are infinite. Your thoughts, your experiences, your capacity for wonder and fear and love, all of it exists on a scale so vast that it transcends death, transcends endings, transcends the very concept of finitude. This is your invitation to keep questioning, to look up at the night sky and remember that somewhere among those stars, another version of you is looking back, to consider that every choice you make creates ripples across infinite realities, affecting countless versions of yourself and everyone you love, to embrace the mystery rather than seeking easy answers, because the mystery is where the magic lives. The universe has shown you its secret. It's a place where impossible things happen regularly, where consciousness creates reality as much as reality creates consciousness, where the distinction between observer and observed dissolves into something far more profound. You are not just a passive recipient of cosmic revelation, you are an active participant in the universe's ongoing exploration of what it means to exist. Share this story. Discuss it. Argue about it. Let it change how you see yourself and your place in the cosmic order. Because that's what revelations are for. Not to provide comfortable answers, but to catalyze transformation, to crack open your assumptions, and let new possibilities pour in like light through a broken shell. The duplicate Earth will continue its impossible journey through accelerated time, showing us futures we haven't imagined yet. NASA's scientists will continue their analysis, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible, and you will continue to exist, to think, to wonder about your place in a universe that grows stranger and more wonderful with every passing moment. But remember this, the next time you look in a mirror, you're not just seeing yourself. You're seeing one frame in an infinite movie, one note in an endless symphony, one thought in a cosmic mind that dreams in duplicate Earths and infinite possibilities. You are both utterly insignificant and absolutely essential. Both a tiny speck in T-sphere, an infinite cosmos, and the entire universe experiencing itself subjectively. The mystery isn't solved. It's just beginning. And the most chilling question of all still hangs in the cosmic void, waiting for an answer that might change everything. If consciousness can be duplicated across infinite realities, if your thoughts and experiences exist in countless identical copies scattered across the universe, then what happens to you when all those copies finally converge? What happens when the cosmic experiment ends and all timelines merge back into one? What happens when the infinite versions of yourself across infinite realities finally meet? Will you still be you, or will you become something larger, something more vast and incomprehensible than individual consciousness can contain? The universe may have no end, but maybe, just maybe, neither do you. And 47 light-years away, another version of you has just reached the same conclusion, in a reality that's racing toward a future where all questions will finally be answered, or where new questions will emerge that make everything we've discussed here seem like the first tentative words of a cosmic conversation that spans eternity. The story continues. The mystery deepens. The universe waits. And so do you.